Hello friends, my name is Alex Karekis and I want to welcome you to the Finding Lost Civilization series. Today we're going to be trekking along the south slope of the Eagle Mountains in Joshua Tree National Forest, which is located in the state of California. Now, I have not traveled this area previously. However, my understanding is that the petroglyph motifs that we're going to see in this area are referred to as the Great Basin or Western Desert Archaic type of petroglyphs. Now, these type of petroglyphs consist of wavy line, grid patterns, squares and circles and so forth. Some people refer to this as abstract in nature because they can't readily identify an image to the motifs that we're about to see. However, I might add that it's the trek and the thrill of discoveries that propels us forward. I don't have a support crew or a staff or any lighting equipment or a script. You're seeing the same thing that I see at the same moment. Nothing is rehearsed, and therefore sometimes the things I say are not exactly accurate. But anyways, the purpose of our trek is not my accuracy, but to spark an interest in yourself to go seek further knowledge. Anyways, I know today's trek is going to be fascinating, and I invite you to come trek with me. Well, we have about an hour of daylight, and I wanted to show you something interesting. Directly in front of us, we have an area that's like a half crescent, a half moon. So right over here, we have the eastern end of the crescent, and it goes in and comes back out. And this is the western end, right over here, the entrance to, I don't want to call it a valley, but for right now, let's just call this a small valley that comes around like this. Well, it's a hot day. It's 8 o'clock in the morning, and it's almost already 85 degrees. I'll tell you, it's really a challenge hiking here in these desert environments. Well, look at this right here. Here's our first petroglyph. Really fascinating. Now, the interesting thing about this symbol over here, which is, I would call it the double cross. In other words, there's a cross and then there's an outline. You can find these symbols throughout Mesoamerica. It's very fascinating. And again, as I say, the reason being is one way or another, we're all connected. And I believe the cultures that drew these also migrated further south into Central America and later on into South America. The interesting thing about this petroglyph right over here, it shows the cardinal points of the compass. And the ancients knew the rising sun, which is here to the east, and the setting sun, which is to the west, right there. And this is exact because the sun is setting right now. And over here, this right here is the southern end, and right here, this is the northern end. And so the ancients didn't have a word for compass, but they understood the setting sun and what we call the cardinal points, right over here.
Hello, we're in the town of San Pedro de Lagunia, and we found a cardinal point. Let me go down here into the field, and let me show you this cardinal point. What we have here, this was found. People didn't know what it was. So we came out here and we brought a compass. And my God, here's the compass. We'll come in there. This here is a perfect alignment of north, south, east, and west. North is, north is this way, east is this way, west is this way, and south. And here's the compass, and you can see the alignment, north and south. Beautiful discovery. This whole area was an area populated by the Indians. There's a lake over here, and this is in the town of San Pedro de Lagunia. Beautiful.
Directly ahead at that boulder right over there is a series of petroglyphs. What we're going to do is climb up there and take a look at them closely. As I said, this is the west end, and I'm turning the camera, and you can see the high point over there, and that's the east entrance to this crescent-shaped area. Again, it's not necessarily a valley, but we'll call it a valley for this trek. Well, as I'm inspecting this boulder, there's a series of symbols. Look at how bright these are over here. Right over here. But below us we have some other symbols. They're almost gone. The patina is returning to the boulder. And I tell you, some of these symbols are very old. It takes a long time for the rock that has been etched to return to its original dark color. But I'm going to show you something right over here. I took a really close look. You see this symbol right here? Look at this. Okay, here's the line. Okay, these two symbols here. And it keeps going up. And right over here it takes a right-hand turn like a crook. Friends, this is an ancient symbol of an atlatl, which was the equivalent of a throwing stick. It could throw spears or arrows, and it preceded the bow and arrow. So I would say the estimation of this petroglyph right here is approximately, or as a minimum, 1,500 years. I tell you, this is truly fascinating. You really have to look closely. I almost missed that atlatl. I'll tell you, this site here is truly fascinating. And I can tell that probably several cultures came here. Oh my goodness, right down there is a large boulder with a very interesting symbol. So let's go down there. But look, there's another symbol right over here. I'll tell you, you have to look at a 360 and come back several times, because if you don't, you'll miss a lot of symbols. So here's that symbol right over there. It's what I would say almost abstract in nature. It's hard to tell what it represents. It's a symbol for sure because it was placed here, but what it actually means has been lost in time. And again, there's that symbol we're going to walk to. Very fascinating. Well, directly in front of us is that symbol that we just saw a minute ago. Look at this here. A series of wavy lines and circular patterns. Often this is generally referred to as archaic, meaning it's very old. Also, it's somewhat abstract in nature. Now, some of these patterns have different stylistic names to them. For example, the grapevine or the desert archaic. And there's subtle differences. Some are what they call rectilinear. In other words, they're right-angle scratches, in other words, squares. Other ones are more circular in pattern. And so there's a series of categories for these ancient, archaic type petroglyphs. As I was scanning the high ridge line over here to see if I can spot any petroglyphs, I looked down and right in front of me I saw this fantastic boulder. There you have it. Can you see it? It's directly ahead of us. I tell you, that's a beautiful motif. My goodness. Let's go up to it and examine it here. Now I have to be careful. It's rocky over here. Could be very slippery. So there you go. Beautiful boulder. You can see the beautiful patina. And look at this over here. I'm sure part of the petroglyph has been lost here due to the spalling of this rock over here. So there we go. Look at this right over here. Isn't this beautiful? Well, the interesting thing that I noticed about this beautiful motif over here, it's all box-type structures. Look at this over here. Up here, you can see that it's a box. Okay, now the first impression is these aren't boxes, but look at this here. They are. This is a box, and this is a box. They're just twisted sideways. Really ingenious, beautiful motif. As I was looking around these boulders, I saw another symbol right over here. And let's take a look at it real close. I'm going to go up to it right here. And look at this pattern right over here. It's almost squared here, and lines coming across and one down the center. It's kind of a grid pattern. And again, this is quite, I would say, normal in these archaic type petroglyphs. Over here are a series of loops right over there. And again, I can see, for example, here's, I'll call this a newer petroglyph. But look at this right over here. I can barely see some other symbols right over here. You can see them right over there. So again, this is a newer symbol superimposed on an older symbol. You know, as I'm scanning these boulders, one of the things I want to mention is, you know, at first glance it doesn't look like there's anything there. You have to be at a spot and look, spend some time there. I see right now 1, 2, 3, 4 petroglyph panels, and if I see 4, there's probably double that. But anyways, let me go to the first one. I'll show you where it is right over here, and then we'll walk up to the second and third one. Well, there's the first petroglyph boulder. Can you see that circle pattern? But look at this right above it, right over here. I can see another motif. Again, desert varnish over it. Very hard to tell what it is, but I can just barely make it out. This one over here is very clear. It's a circular pattern. And right above it, right over there, is a boulder with a zigzag pattern. So there you go, we're coming closer. Oh, and right behind it is another petroglyph. Really interesting. Again, take a look at the patina of this boulder right here. And right behind it, there's another petroglyph boulder right over there. I see another interesting petroglyph over there. It looks like a very unique symbol, so let's get up there real close and take a look at it. I'll call this image the half man, and if you look at it from here to the left, you can see what looks like an arm, and then of course to the right of that a head. And you go down and look to the right, is that a foot? So it's a half man, a half gecko, it's a half something. Very interesting. So our trek here along this area here, we're in a Joshua Tree National Forest, is about, well, I would say almost 1.5 miles, maybe even 2 miles. We're going to go directly ahead straight and then veer to the left into a side arroyo or gully, because my understanding is there's some rock shelters there, some habitation sites. So along the way, hopefully we'll see a lot of more petroglyphs and images left behind by the ancients for us to examine today. Well, there's one right there. Can you see it? Let's go right up to it. It's very simple petroglyph. It's a circle. Again, this is a very common motif here in a California desert area. There's another one. Look at this over here. It's full of circular patterns, and very beautiful, very old. Look at this over here. Again, a series of interconnecting circles up here. Another one right here, and there's 2 circles right over here, 2 right over here. These might be poverty symbols, but really it's only a speculation on my part, hard to tell. Boy, I tell you, look at this, a very harsh environment. So we're going to keep on trekking, and I tell you, I'm having a good time, and I hope you're enjoying this trek as much as I am. There's many interesting things you can find in the desert aside from petroglyphs or old ancient sites. Look at this directly in front of us, right over here. I took a look at this. It's a desert tortoise. There you can see right here the outer layer, the skin of the tortoise. And let me flip it over, and there's the underside. So, you know, life comes and goes here. A desert tortoise, for whatever reason, met his end at this site. Before us we have a large boulder which has a series of interesting motifs. I think I see a potential human figure or representation of human figure, maybe a bird. Anyways, let's take a look at it right over here. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Yes, I think this could be a human. or a bird. Okay, right up there you can see the head, elongated neck, and look at this over here. It looks like arms, but then look at this. Okay, this is more than likely a bird, an egret. Okay, these animals once roamed this area, lived here. So look at the long body, okay, and you come down, and right over here, here are the 2 feet. Let's see if we can see any claws or anything. Yeah, very, very long feet. Okay, again, the wings and the head, the face up there. My guess, and that's what this is, it's a representation of a bird. So anyways, here are some other motifs over here. Again, the circle. Look at this over here, a cross. Almost hard to tell because there's a series of images superimposing themselves on each other. That's the boulder we just looked at over here, and I turn to my right, and I see another boulder directly to our front that has a series of symbols, and let's walk over to it. Again, the pattern is this archaic desert abstract. Okay, there you go. Series of circles. I'll tell you, it's really, really beautiful out here. Well, there's that cross again inside a circle. We'll take a look right over here to this side as of the boulder. There you have this symbol over here. It's very interesting. Well, this symbol over here, some people refer to as the rake. In other words, there's the backbone and there's the teeth going down into the rake symbol. Okay, we'll go lower and take a look at this one right over here. Climbed up here to the pinnacle, and look at this symbol right over here. Almost looks like a warrior with a shield right there. You can see the legs, and one right above it, circular pattern with a line through it, and again a circular motif with lines connecting it. As I'm walking and scanning the boulders, I already see several petroglyphs here. Now the sun is shining right on the boulders, and so this makes it difficult sometimes. But anyways, let's go directly over here in front of us. I see several petroglyphs. Let's go examine them. Well, here we are. Very interesting. I see what I call some archaic petroglyphs and then some representational. Let me show you the difference over here. You see this right in front of us? It's a bunch of circles all combined. Some people would call it modern art. No image, but look at this right above us. As I'm going to climb slowly, can you see that? It's figurative, but right next to it is another archaic petroglyph, almost not discernible. So that looks like some kind of desert creature, probably a lizard or possibly a lizard. Now here's another one. Can you see the difference in a patina, how dark that one is compared to how light this one is? So it looks like some culture came here and superimposed their images or placed them adjacent to another series of images that another culture placed here. come from that direction directly in front of us here, and we're going to this area right here. This is an arroyo. This once was a river or a strong stream flow, and so we're going in that area, and hopefully we'll find signs of ancient life. Well, friends, I came from directly in front of us. That's the entrance to the arroyo. That is an upward climb here towards the mountains. And as I was walking up this arroyo, you can see I have quite a distance to go on uphill. And I was wondering if I was on the right path. But as I was walking this dry stream bed, this dry arroyo, I came under this boulder over here, and I happened to look to my left, and guess what I saw? My goodness, friends, signs of ancient life. Now, once I saw these symbols. Now, these are pictographs, okay? They're painted on a rock. They're not etched into the rock. Most of it is gone. Most of it is gone. This one right here is very strong. You can see it over here. There you go, right there. There were some up here. You can barely see it. Then there's something right here. Look at this. You can see a main body. I'll say right over here. That's the main body. And it looks like two legs going all the way down. There's another motif over here. Now this looks like some grid pattern. There was something over here. There was something over there. And as I looked up over there, you know, this is a very familiar pictograph. I've seen the same type in a Chumash and Yokut territory towards the California coastal area. Well, friends, right over there is the boulder that we've just examined. And when I was looking at it, I looked to my right. And so we're going to turn to the right. And I saw this over here, and I was really excited because now I knew for sure that I've hid signs of ancient life and that perhaps somewhere in this area there might be a habitation site. But look at this. This is interesting over here, this motif. When I first saw it, it appeared to me like an upside-down man. But it could very well be an animal. Look, a tail, legs over there. Maybe this is the head area. But of course, these are all guesses on my part. I love that motif over there with the dots. Here's another similar one to this. Look over here. You could see the crook, so to speak, going down. And over here, this is really interesting. This is what I'll call the up and down whirl. Look at this. It goes up and down, up and down. Very nice. Well, friends, as I was looking at this boulder and heading up the arroyo to look at some other symbols over there, I climbed up on a large boulder over there and looked back over here. And I saw another series of symbols on this side of the boulder, right here to my right. So what we're going to do is we're going to go around this boulder and examine the symbols, okay? So we're going to see this together, and let me find a way to get up there. Okay, here we go. All right, I'm climbing up here, and oh my goodness, this is a complete surprise. Look at that, a mortar. People definitely lived here. This is a food preparation site. Well, look at those right up there. Look at those petroglyphs. Let's get in a little closer. Now, the interesting thing about this motif right here is that some people refer to these as medicine bags. But I have no idea whether it's a guess on their part or some ethnological history. But these are sometimes called medicine bags. And look, right below it, we have the wavy line right here, the wavy line. Fascinating. And right over here is the mortar. And as I said, further down, there's a half dozen boulders with some fascinating petroglyphs that we're going to examine. As I was walking up the Arroyo and I continued to explore, I came upon this spot. Now, although this spot is very beautiful, I can hear the hum of bees, and I have to be very careful because if they're the African bees, they can be very aggressive, and I have been attacked by them. They simply will not give up. But look at that directly in front of us. I mean, this is incredible. You see that large boulder? It has 3 mortars in it. So let's take a walk over there. I'm going to go there slowly, and let's see what we can find up close. Here we go. Look at that. Boy, these are really, really deep mortars. These are very, very deep. Look at this one right over here. I'd like to explore this area a little more, but I tell you, I'm not going to go down in there. There's a swarm of bees, and I don't know if there's a hive there. So I think it's prudent to continue marching up this Arroyo and look for other symbols.